Well, hey everyone, this is Andy from Icon. So excited today, August 8th, we have the release of the RF01 series. So it's a collaboration between Roger Federer and Wilson to release rackets, 3 different rackets, bags, dampeners right here, and also grips, both a replacement leather grip branded with the RF logo and just a regular synthetic leather grip. Now, this is going to be a full review. I'm going to focus on the RF1 Pro. I literally got this racket 1 week ago, and so I've had time to hit with it in the hot, humid weather of Houston, Texas. Then that was on hard courts, then on clay in Sharon, Massachusetts, on indoor hard at Wimbledon Metro West Club in Massachusetts, and outdoor hard as well. Now, first of all, this is an exciting moment. I know a lot of people have been in on this for a while. I only got word of this maybe a month ago, and I got this racket about a week ago. Now, let's just talk about the specs. So this is 320 grams. Before we talk about the specs, let's just say one thing. This is not a pro staff. Repeat, this is not a pro staff. And that's the first hurdle when you're playtesting this racket, to realize that it's not a pro staff. All right, let's dive into the specs. So it's 320 grams, 9 points headlights, 98 square inches, tapered beam. I keep on forgetting what the actual measurements are, but it's something like 22, 24, 23. So tapered to give you more of that head radical feel, easier power and spin. One thing that's really unique, and I noticed straight off the bat when stringing this, was it's so tight in the mains. This is a 16-19 pattern, but it's very tight, like in the center of the racket, and then it spreads out as you, the spring station spreads out as you go across. So I think that's it. I took it for my first sit. It was on clay. First impressions was that this is fast. It sort of reminds me of the old school Federer, or the old school 85, in that even though it was hefty, it was swung really fast. Provided good spin, not pure aero level spin, but adequate spin, and then excellent plow through on this one. One knock that I did notice was that I had it strung with 4G at 53 pounds, and it did seem, at least at the time, I felt a little bit of stiffness, which is not normally the case. I know 4G is a stiff string, but it normally plays very soft for me. So that was a little bit of a concern, so I thought that maybe stringing it up with a softer string next time would be better. But what I realized was that it was more of a raw feel of the racket. So this racket, it seems to me like a cross between like the blade and the shift, but without all the technology that the shift has. So you're getting a very raw feel, excellent spin, but at the same time, you're getting some of those vibrations and the rawer feel. So I've tested this. So, I mean, ground strokes were lovely. Forehand was really good in that I was getting a lot less mishits, and it just gave me a cleaner shot. Backhand was easy. And one thing that to note as well, serves were good too. Just kind of let the racket do the work. Volleys were solid. Not as solid as the RF97, but is anything as solid as that racket. So one thing to note is that even though this is sort of the pro version, 320 grams, a little bit heavier, it is customizable, and it's customizable for people who sort of like to experiment, and if you know what you're doing, right? So I'm going to talk about a few different ways you can customize this for your game, right? So first of all, I'll bring up my buddy Vlad, since he's a ardent RF user. I keep on telling him he should switch back to RF, but 97, but that's another case. So he prefers a more head-heavy version, and this comes in, at least mine came in at a nice swing weight, which is perfect for me at 332. So if you swap out the leather grip here for the synthetic leather, it cuts out about like 9.5 grams, and then it makes it more tip heavy without necessarily having to add weight. So you're basically taking this racket from 320 to 310, keeping the same swing weight. So it's for those players who like that synthetic feel and a heavier heavy racket. So I tried that. It worked well, but I realized that I prefer more of the, at least for this, I prefer more of the leather grip. And so another way that you could customize this as well is, as I mentioned before, it has that a little bit of that rawness. And so to get a little bit more stability, to increase your twist weight, you can add some weight. And I just felt that without the perimeter weighting system that the Pro Staffs had, like there's also, they felt like there was missing some weight at 3 and 9. So with this, I just added 4 grams at 3 and 9. This should bump up my swing weight to 340, but still it doesn't swing that heavy. It feels quite maneuverable for that hefty swing weight. And so for me, I prefer to hit more through the ball. That's sort of my default shot. So flatter backhands hitting through on my forehand. For those players who prefer more to like throw the racket into the ball, so you can still do a dipole system where you have weight at the dipole. What's the polarized? Yes, polarized system, where you have weight at the tip and the base. So you could swap out that leather grip, put the synthetic, and add some weight at the tip, add some weight at the base. So it'll still give you that whippy feeling if that's your cup of tea. So that's the 320 gram version. We have the 300 gram version as well. I think that's about the same balance. Maybe instead of 330 swing weight, I think it comes in at like 318 or so. And then there's also the 280 gram, which we don't have this stock yet in the store. But overall, I think this is an excellent frame. And then there's just one, I repeat, just one thing that I would change. And actually, I have changed. Let's see if you can notice it. So this is the one that we have at the store. This is the one that is mine personally. See the difference? Yes, the difference. And I don't know, I'm going to spend only 20 seconds on this because I feel like Wilson and Roger have designed such a beautiful racket. But this butt cap, the logo on the butt cap, the RF, is quite sharp, right? And for me, I know that I like to sort of put my finger off of the racket on my forehand a little bit, my pinky finger, and then also on the serve. Like I feel like it helps with giving me a little bit more whippy motion. So that's something that I've done, and I did that when playing with my buddy a couple of days ago, and actually accidentally cut myself on the logo. So hence why I swapped it off for just a regular butt cap from Wilson, nice and smooth. You can also shave it down if you want. But that's it. That's the only drawback. I mentioned this to Wilson. Hopefully they fix this, but we'll see what happens. But I will release more videos. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to play test the 300 and the 280 gram one as well. But again, this is Andy. Play smart and see results. And I'm so happy, so excited about this release.